Hey everybody, today we have yet another listener topic sent in, and this one was a popular one. It is about the dichotomy of letting go and still being attached enough to be able to have goals and get things done. Go. Hey, welcome to the I Am Podcast, where we answer all the questions about spirituality and inner peace that you ever wanted to ask, and where we learn the secrets of humanity and divinity through a better understanding of both. I am your host, Sean Webb. Okay, so, man, I get this one a lot. It is a question regarding the dichotomy between releasing attachments and being attached enough to be able to set goals and get things done and have a job and yada, yada, yada. And this is a conundrum. It is sort of a paradox within spirituality. In life, basically, we have these things called attachments of mind, and they can be just about anything, from our name to our belief system to the goal that we have to make a certain amount of money or save for retirement, yada, yada, yada. And so in life, we then have this equation of emotion, which is expectation and or preference regarding those attachments, as is compared to reality as perceived, or our perception in life, then creates emotional reactions. And if you want to understand all the individual emotional reactions, go listen to the Body, Mind, Spirit 101 episodes about 2 through 25 or so. We dropped a few out, but you can check those out, and those will give you a great basis of how the mind, the body, and spirit work together to create our whole existence. Well, all the pain and suffering in our existence, in our life, is perceived through this equation of emotion, where our expectation and our preference, as compared to our perception, creates emotional reaction. And this is proven in neuroscience, it's proven in psychology. There are tons of studies that support this model. But then the question comes in, okay, so how do we reduce our pain and suffering? Well, there are a couple of things. We can change our perception, such as would be cognitive behavioral therapy and things like that, and or we can release our expectations and or preferences and or release the attachments, as Buddhism would suggest, release the attachments in our minds. We don't have any expectations or preferences regarding anything, and so negative emotions and that whole emotional roller coaster and stuff doesn't happen. Period, as proven by the Buddha and a number of the bodhisattvas that have come after him, and as paralleled by all the world's religions. I mean, Muhammad, Jesus, Krishna, all those guys taught the same basic message. And so then we get to 2013. How do we get into life that requires a trading of currency and gathering things of value so as to be able to get a roof and food over our heads? How do we balance releasing attachment with being able to meet our goals and go strive for monetary gain and get things done? There's a difference between being controlled by this attachment model and this equation of emotion and being able to step away from it, right? Because if you can have attachments of mind that you're not wearing as chains, and you're simply wearing them as a coat or a jacket or a pair of pants or something that you would wear as clothes, you can take these things off at the end of the day or not be so attached to them that this then governs your life. The equation of emotion then governs your life and creates a bunch of pain and suffering. Because at the point that you can release the grip, not to these things, but to release the grip that these things have on you, and that you can release these things onto the ground or put them in the dirty hamper or whatever at the end of the day, and not be vexed by things that aren't meeting your expectation and or preference, that's the key, right? The reality is we can't release everything in our life in 2013 and expect to get anything done, because we have to have goals, we have to have attachments, we have to have these things in our mind to help us get from point A to point B to be able to buy bread and buy a roof. But the difference between the two is not being governed by this process, governing this process, being able to willfully put on those attachments, willfully and mindfully acknowledge that we are putting those things onto us, and then if things don't work out, not having our day ruined by that process, but simply taking those attachments off, taking those things and putting them on the floor and walking away from them and not having them as our sense of self. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. That's how we realize spiritual existence and non-attachment and emotional thinking to our 2013 existence, right? That's how we are able to exist in our real everyday world without totally blowing away our non-attachment or our controlled environment of our mind. Because at the point that we can take on and take off our attachments at will and be able to mindfully understand this equation of emotion process, that our expectations and our preferences regarding our attachments as compared to our reality as perceived, our perception is creating our turmoil, our pain and suffering. At the point that we can see that, we're no longer governed by it. So yeah, I can put on the attachment that I would love this podcast to do well and get this message out to a bunch of folks and get a whole bunch of inner peace into everybody else, because that is another step towards world peace, which is a goal that I put on. But at the same time, it's a goal that I temporarily put on. It's a goal that I put on loosely, that I can throw off at will, because I understand that world peace isn't coming probably in the end of my lifetime. It's going to be another 400 or 500 years before science gets this whole process out to school kids and they start growing up with an understanding of negative emotions and inner peace and yada, yada, yada. And so I can put that on as an attachment and then take it off. And that's what makes knowing that world peace isn't going to happen in my lifetime not a big deal to me, because I know that I am working, I am chopping the wood, carrying the water, cleaning my bowl every day to forward that. But at the same time, I'm not vexed by the fact that I'm going to ultimately fail in my lifetime and hopefully have my work bear fruit moving forward. Okay, so I have no vexation, I have no negative emotion, no frustration that my stuff isn't going to improve the world peace right now, even though it'll improve in people's lives if we send it to other folks. I need you, do that. So I can take that on and off. It's a mindful decision. So I hope that helps answers the question. I know I rambled a little bit, sorry about that, but I hope that answers the question about the whole attachment thing versus goals, setting goals and being able to attain, getting over hurdles and be able to attain things that we attach our mind to. Because difference between being ruled by this and ruling this is the key to happiness and is the key to inner peace, and ultimately the key to world peace. And that shit ain't no joke. Hope you guys are having a great week. I love you. Don't forget, drop us by iTunes, drop us a review if you like, subscribe at iamspirituality.com. I have a book out on Audible that explains the basic emotions and how they work within the mind. I got another book coming out very soon, and we're going to have an app, the world's best mindfulness app ever, coming soon. Awesomeness on its way. Use our links on Amazon.com if you buy stuff there. Very much appreciate it. Love you. Peace.